Hey, you Stygian Dogs. February 26th saw the much-anticipated release of issue number 7 of The Savage Sword of Conan from Titan Comics and Heroic Signatures. This first issue of the magazine's second year of retro goodness marks the return of legendary writer Roy Thomas in a Conan feature drawn by the one and only Roberto De La Torre. Man, was I ever excited for this one, but alas, my local comic shop, and I think the whole city, fell victim to the whims of the comic distribution gods. As such, I'm a week behind in checking it out. Let's take a look at the covers to whet our appetites. Cover A, another fine one from Alex Horley. And I really enjoy Sean Joyce's cover B. I love the retro-looking Savage Sword of Conan logo, and I always appreciate it when the covers complement the main feature. Now, this must be a dream come true for Roberto De La Torre. Not only does he have a chance at a full Conan feature in The Savage Sword of Conan, but what an honor to be credited alongside Roy Thomas, the writer responsible for an almost unimaginable number of stories featuring our Cimmerian, and who is ultimately responsible for establishing the character and his adventures in the Hyborian Age in comic book form. Many Conan fans likely first became familiar with De La Torre from his work on Chris Claremont's Die by the Sword, a 10-page story originally published in the December 2020 King-Size Conan #1. It's an anthology book commemorating 50 years of Conan in comics. De La Torre drew this cover for Conan the Barbarian #24, and then in issue number 25 of the series, we saw his work on a short King Conan story titled Black Orchid, credited to writer Jim Owsley. That issue celebrated the 300th issue of Conan the Barbarian under Marvel Comics. Fans of the ongoing Conan the Barbarian series from Heroic Signatures and Titan Comics know De La Torre from his celebrated runs on the Bound in Blackstone and the Age Unconquered arcs with writer Jim Zub. And as part of that ongoing series, he's delivered a bevy of standout covers, many of them my absolute favorites. Plus, he's given us these two covers for the Conan Battle of the Blackstone event series. Most recently, his work has appeared on the cover of issue number 18, and we're going to see more from him on issues 19 and 20. As far as Rob in The Savage Sword of Conan goes, we were treated to this great pinup opposite Roy Thomas's introductory essay in issue number 1. In issue number 3, he provided an illustration for Jim Zub's battle poem, Call Thee to Crom. Then in issue number 4, he gave us this great 2-page spread of the Heroes of Men. And issue number 5 gave us a bit of a tease with a great 2-page story written by Jim Zub. I don't know about you, but this feels like the issue of The Savage Sword of Conan that we've been waiting for since the series' return. And sure, the Thomas and De La Torre story is the main attraction here, but I'm excited to see what else the issue has to offer. And yes, I'm aware that its contents differ a little from what was initially advertised. So before we open it up, I'll let you know that this will be a flip through, not a read through, so there will be image spoilers, but I won't linger. It's a peek and a tease. So make sure to grab a physical copy or two. You don't want to miss out. And here we go. Opening it up, on the inside cover, an advertisement for Conan the Barbarian, the official story of the film by John Walsh. Be sure to check out my video on this. This is followed by our first pinup, this one illustrated by Stuart Sager. Turning the page, credits for the teams at Heroic Signatures and Titan Comics, and then the table of contents for The Savage Sword of Conan, starting with Conan Mark of the Beast, a savage story of brutal beasts and menacing men from legendary writer Roy Thomas and artist Roberto De La Torre, followed by King of Combat, a behind-the-scenes look at the Cimmerian's upcoming guest appearance in NetherRealm Studios' Mortal Kombat 1. And then the 12th Labor of Breckenridge Elkins, a tale of mirth and myth introducing Robert E. Howard's Breckenridge Elkins from writer Patrick Zircher and artist Juan Alberto Hernandez. The Patrick Zircher Breckenridge Elkins story is a bit of a surprise here. Well, I knew it was in the works. I wasn't anticipating being included in this issue, based on what was advertised on the back of issue number 6 and the issue solicits, where we were promised a Belit story from writer Joseph Pruitt and artist Goran Parlov. I'll embrace the changes being serendipitous, ensuring a really solid finished product. And of course, I'll happily look forward to Pruitt and Parlov's story in a future issue. Returning to the table of contents, the pinups. We've already seen Conan by Stuart Sager, and then the issue closes with a pinup by Patch Zircher, and it's of Breckenridge Elkins. And then we turn the page to our feature, Conan the Barbarian, Mark of the Beast. Roy Thomas, writer. Roberto De La Torre, artist. Richard Starkings and Comicraft's Tyler Smith, letters. Inspired by a story by Rudyard Kipling, featuring the Cimmerian, created by Robert E. Howard. It's fun to see Roy Thomas cite inspiration from Rudyard Kipling's The Mark of the Beast. That story was first published in 1890 and blends themes of horror, cultural arrogance, and supernatural revenge in the setting of colonial India. In Kipling's tale, a drunk man desecrates a temple to the monkey god Hanuman and finds himself cursed by the touch of a leprous holy man, referred to as a silver man, slowly transforming into something of a werebeast as his friends bear witness to it all. So be sure to look for the parallels in Thomas's story here. I'll include a link to Kipling's story in the video description. It's a quick and fun read that's worth checking out. And I'd assert that part of Thomas's renown is his ability to draw inspiration from a wide array of literary sources, particularly from other authors outside the comic medium. His work through the years reflects a deep appreciation for classic literature, pulp fiction, and mythology, and can be seen as a bridge between literary traditions and comic book culture. The reader will note that in this story, Thomas draws inspiration from his own previous works, with the story serving as a continuation of the events of the July 1973 Conan the Barbarian number 28, Moon of Zimbabwe, where we're introduced to Helgi, with whom Conan begins this story. Not to mention reference to the War of Tarim in the very beginning of the story, an epic event that featured in issues number 19 through 26 of Roy Thomas's Conan the Barbarian. That arc is said to be inspired by the Iliad, so with these references in mind, you might want to keep an eye open for other Easter eggs. After that truly superb Roy Thomas and Roberto De La Torre story, we come to King of Combat. Steel meets pixels as the mighty Cimmerian is unleashed. This is highlights of an interview between Sinister Sean Curley of the official Conan channel and the masterminds from NetherRealm Studios, the team elevating Conan the Barbarian to gaming immortality as a guest fighter in Mortal Kombat number 1. And congratulations to Sean Curley. He's nominated for a Black Lotus Award with the Robert E. Howard Foundation. And then we come to The 12th Labor of Breckenridge Elkins, Patrick Zircher, writer, Juan Alberto Hernandez, artist, Richard Starkings and Comicraft's Tyler Smith, letters. I first became aware of Breckenridge Elkins through my conversation with Jeffrey Shanks. In that video, Jeff tells of the rare 1937 volume, A Gent from Bear Creek. With only 18 copies known to exist, the book collects the stories of Robert E. Howard's Breckenridge Elkins. Howard's character first appeared in Mountain Man, published in Action Stories in March-April 1934, and he'd go on to feature in 26 short stories, most of which ran in that same magazine between 1934 and 1937, and then the aforementioned episodic novel, A Gent from Bear Creek, published in 1937. There is also this comic adaptation of Mountain Man by Gary Shalner. It appeared in the Dark Horse Savage Sword. The adaptation is a faithful telling of the humorous exploits of the character. He's Robert E. Howard's big lug of a hillbilly simpleton. The adaptation is available online. I'll be sure to add a link to that and to the original Howard story in the video description so that you can check them out for yourself. Now, I'm curious to see what Patrick Zircher's take on the character is. We've become used to his moody Solomon Kane, so an Elkins story would surely be somewhat of a departure from that serious tone. Zircher absolutely captures that humorous quality of the Breckenridge Elkins stories. And it's really fun to see the character introduced in Savage Sword of Conan. It is interesting to see Juan Alberto Hernandez eschew the campiness that could be presented with an Elkins story in favor of a realism. It generates a sort of cognitive dissonance that counters Zircher's humor, and I think it works really well. While I thoroughly enjoy Gary Shalner's take on the character, I think if the creative team had gone in that direction, the story might not fit so well into the Savage Sword of Conan. And then we come to the second of the two pinups. This one is by Patch Zircher, and it is of Breckenridge Elkins. Looks fantastic. Opposite that, an advertisement for Solomon Kane, The Serpent Ring. Number 1 is on sale March 25th. The iconic hero returns with a furious vengeance in his first solo series in 15 years. Can't wait to check this out. I've enjoyed Patch Zircher's Solomon Kane as it has appeared in the pages of Savage Sword of Conan. And then on the back cover, details for the next issue. A surplus of staggering short stories channeling Robert E. Howard's iconic characters, featuring 3 thrilling Conan tales, a death-defying duel from the legendary Liam Sharp, a cave-crawling adventure from Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham, and a dreamlike journey from Fred Kennedy and Marco Rudy. Adding to the excitement are stories featuring 2 more Howardian characters, Belit from Pruitt and Parlov, and Cormac Fitzgeoffrey from Davison and Fafner. Nice to see friend of the channel Max von Fafner return to the series. With a stunning array of pinups and captivating covers from Joe Jesko and Alex Horley, The Savage Sword of Conan issue number 8 is not to be missed. Given that lineup, I'm really looking forward to this next issue. Without hyperbole, this is The Savage Sword of Conan at its very best. It is without question the very best of the magazine in this new era. How fortunate are we to be here in 2025 reading a new, to us anyway, Conan tale written by Roy Thomas, 55 years after Conan's first appearance in Marvel Comics. A fair estimate of Conan stories written by Roy Thomas lands, like between 300 and 350, though it could very well be more. And somehow, Mark of the Beast doesn't just feel like one more. It feels special. Thomas's writing is lyrical, and it's tinged with moments of humor befitting the Sumerian. Nothing is overdone. I enjoyed its theme of brotherly camaraderie and the meandering quality of the yarn. This is something that's evident in many of the great long-form Savage Sword of Conan tales. I love its placement chronologically and that it's a continuation of sorts of an original Conan the Barbarian story. And I love how Roy Thomas has peppered it with allusions to past adventures and characters, the War of Tarim, Jenna, and the foreshadowing of events in Beyond the Black River. And none of these moments feel forced or wedged into the story for the purpose of name dropping. This was a superb story. It's just wonderful. It's precisely what fans think about when they think of the great moments of the Savage Sword of Conan. And I feel like I just want to say thank you to Thomas for the gift of this story and all that's come before. And obviously, so much of the story's success is the result of Roberto De La Torre's superlative art. While comparisons to John Buscema will always be made, it starts to feel like a lazy go-to. De La Torre is his own fantastic talent, channeling the very best of Conan in this medium. It all just feels so right. It feels like home. The wonderful panel layouts, action galore, the seedy taverns you can just smell, along with the fetid gore of the recently dispatched, not to mention his wonderful depiction of women of pendulous bosom. And wow, to welcome the challenge of illustrating such an array of beasts in great anatomical detail. His true skills as an artist simply shine throughout. Roberto De La Torre is hands down magnificent, and the end result of his partnership with Roy Thomas is a Conan story at its triumphant best. This wonderful issue is rounded out by Patrick Zircher's fun, true-to-form tale of Robert E. Howard's lesser-known Breckenridge Elkins. And what a wonderful introduction to the current magazine. Artist Juan Alberto Hernandez eschews campiness in favor of a realism that generates a dissonance that counters Zircher's humor. I think it works to great effect, balancing the character's tendency towards the slapstick humor against the macabre and the weird, grants Elkins an appropriate home in the pages of The Savage Sword of Conan. This issue, number 7 of The Savage Sword of Conan, is the best yet. It is an absolute must-read. It is everything readers want in this publication. So, sincere congratulations to the creative team. It's just awesome. Thanks for watching, liking, consider subscribing. Don't forget to check out the Robert E. Howard Foundation Awards. All of your favorite Conan writers and artists are represented. I'm pleased to say that I'm nominated for the Black Lotus Award alongside the wonderful Michael K. Vaughan, Sean Curley, and so many others. It's a chance for you to celebrate Howard's legacy and to lend support to the important work of the foundation. And until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.